Good evening, everyone. Myself Aditya G from ECE department studying in SVCE second sem. Content, the power of columns, types of columns, the role of columns in architecture, columns in interior design, designing with columns, conclusion, columns as a design element. The power of columns. Columns are more than just structural support. They have the power to transform a space and elevate its aesthetic appeal. By incorporating columns into your design, you can create a sense of grandeur and elegance that is unmatched by any other element. Whether you're designing a residential home or a commercial space, columns can add a touch of sophistication and refinement that will leave a lasting impression on anyone who enters the room. From the intricate details of iconic columns to the simple elegance of Doric columns, there is a style of column that can fit any design scheme. Type of columns. Columns have been an integral part of architecture for centuries, and there are several different types that have emerged over time. One of the most well-known types is the Ionic column, which features a scroll-shaped design at the top called a vault. The Doric column, on the other hand, has a simpler design with no base and a plain capital. Finally, the Corinthian column is known for its ornate capital featuring acanthus leaves and scrolls. Each type of column has its own unique characteristics that makes it suitable for different architectural styles and purpose. For example, the Doric column is often used in more classical design, while the Corinthian column is favored in more decorative, elaborate styles. Understanding these differences can help designers choose the right type of column for their project. The role of column in architecture. Columns have played a fundamental role in architecture for centuries, serving both functional and aesthetic purposes. From the towering columns of ancient Greece to the ornate pillars of Gothic cathedrals, these structures have helped define the styles and eras of architectural history. Structurally, columns provide support for buildings and help distribute weight evenly. This allows for larger and more complex structures to be built, as seen in the grand temples and basilicas of ancient Rome. Aesthetically, columns can add a sense of grandeur and elegance to buildings' facade, as well as create visual interest through their various shapes and designs. For example, the intricate Corinthian columns found in many Renaissance buildings are known for the ornate capitals adorned with acanthus leaves and scrolls. Columns in interior design. Columns are a timeless design element that can add a touch of elegance and sophistication to any interior space. Whether used as decorative accents or structural supports, columns can transfer an ordinary room into a stunning masterpiece. One way to incorporate columns into interior design is by using them to define spaces. For example, a row of columns can be used to separate a dining area from a living room, creating sense of grandeur and formality. Another way to use columns in a decorative feature such as flanking a fireplace is a decorative feature. By choosing the right type and size of column, designers can create a unique look that enhances the overall aesthetic of the space. Designing with columns. While designing with columns, it's important to consider the type and size of column that will best complement the space. For example, Ionic columns are more slender and elegant, making them a great choice for smaller space, while Doric columns are more robust and sturdy, making them ideal for larger areas. Another key consideration is the placement of the columns within the space. Columns can be used to create visual interest and divide a room into different zones, but they can also obstruct views and make a space feel cramped if not placed correctly. It's important to strike a balance between functionality and aesthetics when designing with columns. Conclusion. Columns as a design element. In conclusion, columns are much more than just structural elements in architecture. They have been used for centuries to add beauty, elegance, and sophistication to buildings and interior alike. By understanding the different type of columns and their characteristics, we can use them as powerful design elements to enhance the visual appeal of spaces. Whether you are designing a grandiose building or a small room in your home, columns can be incorporated to create a sense of scale, balance, and harmony. By choosing the right type and size of column for your space, you can achieve a look that is both timeless and contemporary. So don't be afraid to experiment with columns in your design and see how they can transform your space from ordinary to extraordinary. Thank you.